What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another review on the What If Ricardo Pereira. We're going to be going through the card's details, stats, clips and summary. Before we get into all of that, if I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload. Comment down below what your thoughts are on this card, and without further ado, let's get into the video. So guys, the team that I use, Ricardo Pereira, and I played him in the 4-2-3-1, of course, at that right back slot. I did try him at centre back a couple of times, guys. Overall, my first impressions of this card is much more suited to fullback for me. I don't feel like he has that power element to play centre back, but as a fullback, guys, he is very good, very serviceable in that role, and very decent in that role as well. Without further ado, though, let's just get into the review. Ricardo Pereira, 5'9", high work rates, right-footed, 3-star moves, and 4-star weak foot. So a lot of nice stuff there for you guys. Overall, I think the high work rates are pretty decent for a fullback, although I would like them to be more weighted defensively, or a medium, or even high medium. You know, guys, I really don't mind that much with my fullbacks, what kind of work rates they have, as long as they are pretty decent. 4-star weak foot is nice. I wish I had one more skill move for you skillers out there, but overall, I think this card does do fairly well in terms of just his general play, given that he is right-footed on that right-hand side as well. 4 games played, no goals scored, and 1 assist. I actually think it's 5 games played, guys, but there was a game where I lagged out fairly early, and I don't think it's counted, but I 100% do think I've played 5 games with this card. In terms of the chemistry style, I put the anchor chemistry style on him, guys. I want his defensive ability, his physicality, and his pace all to be boosted. Now, I know that will be helped with the boost when that comes through, because Leicester are, of course, a very free scoring team. But overall, guys, I think this card right now needs that, and when he does get that boost through, then you can boost other factors around this card. In terms of the key pros of this card, guys, to go with those high work rates, he has that 91 stamina, decent stand tackle and slide tackle, interceptions and defensive awareness as well, decent passing and relatively okay dribbling. Nothing too spectacular in the passing and the dribbling departments. His speed is pretty decent as well. The overall cons of this card, guys, I would say the only thing that really does bug me a little bit if you are going to play him centre back is that strength level. That does need to be boosted heavily if you want him to be able to compete at that centre back role. Otherwise, guys, and I think the agility and balance could be a little better just with his manoeuvrability. This card is, of course, quite small, and you would like maybe a bit more of a slight player to be able to maneuver a little better around those opponent players. Overall, guys, I think I'm really nitpicking if I do stick with that. And his long passing could be a little better. That's just for playing switches. Sometimes they're a bit inaccurate with those passes. Getting into the player traits, he's got the early crosser trait, which is nice to have, and the speed dribbler trait as well. Both lovely traits to have on a fullback, so really nice to have those two in there too. And having covered all that, we're going to get into some of the clips that I got with him. So guys, getting into some of Ricardo Pereira's clips, and what you guys are going to see here is his general defensive capability. Now guys, I did play him at the centre back slot. He didn't really do much for me there, and I didn't really get many clips of him there either. This was more at the full back slot and his capability there. And the first thing I want to get into, guys, and it's both, it's a pro because he's got okay pace, but it's a con because I feel like it's not enough for this card. Ricardo Pereira does have decent pace, it's just not super high, and I would like it to be higher than it currently is. I do think that he is a pretty adept defender, guys, and does well in the tackle as well. And overall, I think that he's very likely to get this boost, especially because Leicester are a free scoring team, but also do keep those clean sheets as well. I think he will be able to get them. Despite the injuries that they have been having, I do think Leicester will be able to lock one down for him to get that 2+ boost. Overall, guys, I do think this card needs it as well, and I do think that his pace and his defending need a bit of help, especially right now as the 87 card. As we transition to the 89 card, I think his pace will still need help. His dribbling isn't too bad, actually, guys, so I think you could probably leave that alone, and his passing is okay as well. So really his pace, and maybe just boost his defending again as well, just to kind of make him an elite defender. That would really help him out too. In terms of overall playability though, guys, I did feel like this card transitioned really well through the gears, helped really well, and the thing that I was most impressed about with this card, and it's the main point that I want to touch on, was his defensive positioning in terms of coming in from that fullback slot, covering, getting in behind those centre backs when he needed to sweep behind them. He did a great job of all of that, and I think that was really key for me, guys, was that he was able to do that dirty work. Here again, you see fantastic positioning and a great slide away there to get the ball away. Tackle again here, and covering the centre backs really well in those gaps where strikers tend to pick up the ball and take the line of the defender out there. Really well positioned in most situations here, and you'll notice that over and over again. He just does really well and makes things look very simple and feel very simple for you as well, because you know you can move relatively easily with this card too. The final couple of clips, guys, you're just going to see again more defensive capability, more defending, and again here chasing down the man, putting in a good tackle and winning the ball back really well. So guys, getting into this Ricardo Pereira summary, 229 on the PlayStation, 202 on the Xbox, and 305 on the PC. And overall guys, as we mentioned before, the stats on this card pretty decent overall. I think when he does get that boost, because Leicester are of course a very free scoring team, he will get that boost guys. He'll go up to 90 plus pace, he will get into the 86-87 level of defending, 86-87 dribbling, passing will be up as well, and its physicality will just get better as well. Overall, this card will be really phenomenal, especially in fullback slot. Now guys, I do think that you need to apply the right chemistry style if you want to play him at the centre back slot. And that's something really to consider with this card. In terms of chemistry styles, I did put an anchor on him. Now you can see what that does, and I still didn't feel like that was enough strength to be able to use him at that centre back slot. If some of you guys are considering that, the fullback slot, I think the anchor is fantastic for him, and this is more than enough in terms of physicality, defending, and pace to be able to deal with almost anyone that's coming your way. But if you were to go for something else that you needed to boost more strength on, then you'll need to look at other chemistry styles to enable you to be able to go out and play this card a little better than what he currently is. That's what Shadow does to him, guys. Gives you really elite pace and of course elite defending as well. But my recommended one for you guys would be the anchored chemistry style. In terms of similar players, guys, he actually is very similar to Nelson Semedo in how he plays. I do feel like he's got that very small, lean, and slight build. Semedo, of course, slightly taller than him, but this card plays very similarly, I think, to that card. I think this card is a very good card. I just don't know if he justifies that price tag given what's available in the Premier League. Of course, if you are building a Leicester team or a Premier League team, then this card is more than usable in those teams, and certainly does stack up against some of these other cards here. I think this Reece James, of course, is a fantastic card. I don't think he's quite as good as, or as well-rounded as that card, but certainly much better than this Trent Alexander-Arnold card in terms of being able to compete with those fast attackers, being able to take them on as well. This Joao Cancelo card, a very good card as well. I don't think he's quite at that level, but he's very close, guys, and will be on that level when the boost does come through. In terms of the link ability, guys, we've of course got a perfect link to that Adrian Silva. Of course, I don't know if he's even at the club anymore, but if we go to the strong links, we've got Bruno Fernandes, the Portuguese icons as well, and a bunch of Leicester players as well. Bernardo Silva's in there too, Jamie Vardy, of course, Ruben Neves is league player, Harvey Barnes, Wilfred Ndidi. You've got loads of players you can link in there. Fofana's Future Stars card, of course, if you guys are grinding that out, will link to this card too. So overall, guys, I think really some nice linkability in this card as well, and what you can get in this card is a really good right back, especially as Leicester will be getting those goals. I think this card will go up to an 89, and what you'll get then is a card that's just phenomenal in general fullback play and able to do all the parts of the fullback game that you want him to be able to do. If we go into the price comparison, guys, just looking at the Premier League defenders here, you can see that he sat right there. Actually, if we just sort this by the price tag, so we can see where he sits in terms of the fullbacks, he sits just above the second informed Joao Cancelo at 229k, the Joao Cancelo at 203, and below the Joao Cancelo's 87 card at 458. I think that's fair. The Joao Cancelo, I think, is still a level above this card in terms of capability because of his size and his skill moves as well. I think this Pereira's got a 4-star weak foot instead of 3-star which Joao has, which I think is unfair for Joao, but that's another point entirely. This card is very good in terms of being a general right back, and I think when he does get that boost and goes to an 89, I think then you're starting to look at him competing with this Joao Cancelo in terms of capability and being able to play with the ball as well. However, guys, what I would say is that generally with Premier League right backs, there is always something that you can substitute out for, and of course we have the old competitors in Kyle Walker and Nelson Semedo's card down here that always are able to hold their own against any other attacker as well. So it's really a question of, do you want to have a special card as well? For me, guys, it's more than just being able to find the cheaper alternative at this stage in the game. If we go into across the entire FIFA database, you guys can see just below Bruno Perez and Kevin Mbabu here, and then above Carles Puyol, and of course, as previously mentioned, Joao Cancelo and James Tavernier. Now, in terms of stacking up against this Tavernier, for me, no comparison. This Tavernier is one of the best fullbacks in the game. I still use him in my team to this day. Fantastic fullback, holds his own against anybody he comes up against. But if we compare him against the other cards, because I do consider that one a freak card, then Carles Puyol, I think, yep, miles better than him. Bruno Perez, I do think that he's on the similar sort of level with him. I think this Bruno Perez is a very good card, and does have that nice linkability now, of course, that Mkhitaryan's in there, El Shaarawy's in there, of course, as well, so you've got some nice options there too. This Mbabu card, I was a little disappointed with. The review will be coming out on that soon, even the 87 card. I do think that Ricardo Pereira is actually better than that Kevin Mbabu card, and I think this Bruno Perez is actually better than that Mbabu card as well, but we will get into that a review another day. Not better, guys, per se, but I think he definitely can compete with this Mbabu card, and that's really important as well, guys, that he's able to compete above his level. But if we look downwards as well, there are cards that can compete with him, so just something to bear in mind as well. Which leads me to my final summary, guys. about this card. I think you guys should let this card drop a little more below the 200k mark. I don't know if you'll get that low, but if you are looking for a good solid right back, guys, this card will do the job for you. However, I don't think I would be recommending you guys buy this card. I think there's plenty of other options available, plenty of varied options available with easier linkability as well at times. Of course, with that Harvey Barnes card now, you can play him out wide, run that DM role, and then change the formation about, and that Fofana in there as well. It does provide some great linkability, but overall, guys, I think you've got some great options as well. So I don't know if I'd be recommending this card unless he did drop a little more, at which point then he would be, of course, a fantastic value for coin, and I would recommend picking him up. But that's just my opinion, guys. Of course, the best way to find out for you guys if you do like him is, of course, try him out for yourself. But for me, guys, I would just wait a little longer until that price drops off a little more, and then evaluate whether you want to pick him up or not. Hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, please do smash that like button. Until next time, I will see you all in a bit.